Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video on this channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the recent news that two members of NewJeans have returned to ADOR, and what all of this means. So without further ado, let's get started. 2 weeks ago I made a video explaining everything that had happened up until then, so if you want a broader context of everything that has happened over these years, you can check that out. The latest development was that the Seoul Central District Court ruled in favor of ADOR in their judicial request for confirmation of the validity of the exclusive contracts of the 5 NewJeans members. In other words, they wanted it to be legally clear that even though NewJeans said they were no longer part of the company, legally they still were, with all that this entails, meaning they could not perform or promote independently. Remember that the NewJeans members claim they are not part of the company because ADOR supposedly breached their contract by dismissing Min Hee-jin, who was the only person they trusted within the company. The court said that it is difficult to conclude that ADOR breached the exclusive contract solely by dismissing former CEO Min Hee-jin. NewJeans said they appealed this decision because they did not agree. Today we came across the news that HAERIN and HYEIN have reportedly returned to ADOR. They released a statement saying, "This is a statement from ADOR. NewJeans members HAERIN and HYEIN have expressed their intent to continue their activities with ADOR. After careful consideration and thorough discussions with their families, the two members have decided to respect the court's ruling and uphold their exclusive contracts. ADOR will do our utmost so that HAERIN and HYEIN can continue their entertainment activities smoothly. We ask for the fans' warm support and urge everyone to refrain from making unfounded speculations about the members. Thank you." The fact that these two were the first to return made people start commenting that they were the quietest members, and it had already been said that they seemed to be led by the others. But this was disproved when HANNI said that they all had to agree in order to take the next step.
We've always said to each other, if one person doesn't want to do it, then we're not going to do it. It has to be all 5 of us that agrees to do it.
Also, it's worth noting that they are the youngest members of the group, and especially HYEIN has had her own struggles with this whole controversy, since it's known that apparently all the parents of the NewJeans members had agreed to file a lawsuit to terminate the exclusive contract with ADOR, and the only one who opposed it was HYEIN's father. Since the parents of the minor could not reach an agreement, the mother filed a petition with the Seoul Family Court requesting that the father's parental rights be restricted for the duration of the case. The court ruled in favor of the mother, allowing her to exercise exclusive parental authority regarding the lawsuit. So they effectively tied the hands of the only adult who seemed to disagree with the lawsuit, even though later a statement was released by the members denying that there was any discord among the parents. But all of this was resolved quickly, since just hours later the other 3 members announced that they would return to ADOR, saying, "Hello, this is MINJI, HANNI, and DANIELLE. Recently, we decided on our return to ADOR after careful discussion. This was relayed late as one member is currently in Antarctica, but as ADOR is not responding at the moment, we are inevitably announcing this through a separate statement. We will continue greeting you with sincere music and performances. Thank you." My first question is, what do you mean that there's a member is in Antarctica? Isn't that a protected continent? And second, they say that ADOR is not responding when all they've asked for over these years is for them to return, and now they want to go back. They're not getting an answer. This is strange. A note was added just after the statement from MINJI, HANNI, and DANIELLE saying that ADOR was checking on the truth of their intent to return. What makes me think is that maybe those 3 didn't even inform the company directly of their intention to return. They just told the media, which would explain why there are 2 separate statements, and why ADOR seems to have to verify the information, even though it doesn't seem like a good way to start, not telling them directly that you want to come back and expecting them to read it in the news. Now the relevant thing would be to clarify everything they have said. Was it true that they suffered mistreatment, or did they just say it because they didn't want to return, and had to find an excuse? Since from the beginning they said that returning to ADOR was not an option, but it seems they have no choice now because the fines they would have to pay are enormous. On one hand, even if everything they said were true, they won't be able to say it because now they are part of that company again. But on the other hand, they were very certain and very clear that under no circumstances would they return. I think their change of opinion is linked to the failures in court, both theirs and Min Hee-jin's, and since it seems that she has disappeared, she no longer defends the NewJeans members, saying that anything they do is not connected to her, so perhaps they got tired of following a lady who has accumulated problems and left them behind. Now that they have returned, it would be interesting to talk about how their reputation stands, because obviously they have fans who would support them in any situation. but I feel that the general public is divided. In recent years the legal issues they have faced have been heard more than their music, and let's remember that they haven't released music in a year and a half. I think everyone will be watching to see if they release new songs. But I don't think it will be the same. Now people see them differently. They are seen as those who said they would go all out against their evil company, but stopped halfway and backed down, perhaps too late. Also, some people say that maybe HYBE wants to sabotage them or give them bad music to get back at them for causing trouble to the company, but honestly I don't think so. At the end of the day HYBE's goal is to make money, and they don't gain anything by keeping them from releasing music or even giving them bad releases. My prediction is that they will try to slowly clean up their image, act like nothing happened. The problem is that in all this controversy there are other groups involved who are from the same company, and I'm not sure they will be able to avoid all the conflicts they would like. For example, MINJI is the host of Music Bank, and if they release songs they will have to promote them somewhere. So here there are two options. Either they simply don't promote on programs where HYBE groups appear, or they act like nothing happened and could even try to make us believe that they get along by doing each other's trends and appearing on shows together. Either way, the public doesn't forget, and it will be hard to hide the tension. Many people don't really know how to feel about this. Is it good news or not? Well, it depends on how you look at it. Now they'll probably be able to continue their musical careers, and their success will depend on how the public decides to treat them, because honestly, they were incredibly popular, and who knows if they'll be able to maintain that level of fame. If they hadn't come back, they would have spent the rest of the year, and probably even longer, in legal battles which, judging by how things were going, they wouldn't have won anyway. Like I said in my previous video, I understand that they were upset about Min Hee-jin being fired, especially if they were as close as they seemed, but her dismissal isn't a valid reason to unilaterally terminate their contracts, because their agreement isn't with her, it's with the company. They probably saw that they were going to lose and realized they could either go all the way and be forced to return or step back now and make it seem like it was their own decision. The issue I see is that the relationship between the girls and ADOR is already really strained. I don't know if they'll be able to understand each other again, or if there will be resentment. I just hope everyone feels comfortable, and that they can reach a real agreement. I'm editing this video literally as the news is breaking because this is truly a last-minute update. It's just been reported that HYEIN's father played a massive part in HAERIN and HYEIN's return to ADOR. According to NEWJEANS, this makes me think that maybe the two youngest members of the group wanted to come back in a peaceful way, and the other three felt like they either had to follow them or risk going against them. Because it's really strange that there were two separate announcements, one where ADOR themselves announced HYEIN and HYEIN's return, showing that there had been direct communication between both parties, and another where the media reported that MINJI, HANNI, and DANIELLE were also returning. It feels like a rushed decision that might have been made just to avoid showing division within the group, although of course this is just my opinion based on what's been reported so far. For now, this is everything that has happened. I'll keep you updated in here or in my Instagram with any new developments. It's really interesting to see how this will play out, and how the public reacts. We'll have to wait and see if NEWJEANS can fully rebuild their image and regain trust while navigating the complicated dynamics of HYBE. Stay tuned for more updates.
And this has been all. I hope you like it. Make sure to like and subscribe if you did. It would help me a lot. See ya.